if you want to get better at anything in life, you need reps. Like the old cliche, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. And we're talking about practice, man. And in some aspects, it is quite important. So offensive line is one of those things. Notably, live reps and practice are the key. And Vikings left tackle and 3-year captain Riley Reiff agrees. Talking to the Media Jackals on Tuesday, the former Iowa Hawkeye said this, quote, we're one of the groups, referring to offensive linemen, on a football team that really needs to get those live reps. End quote. So that's what Reiff said. And he's 100% correct in that regard. And also, think about how bad Riley Reiff would be if he didn't have live reps. But in this weird-ass offseason, no OTAs, no minicamp, even though contact is relatively limited in OTAs, a little bit in minicamp, there you go. But also no preseason, as well as teams don't have joint practices. They ain't going to happen. So teams are going to have to consider more full-padded live practices. I mean, otherwise, it's just going to be a month and a half of conditioning, and then you get week one. No one knows how to tackle, and no one knows how to lay the wood down in the trenches. So it's kind of scary, right? So it will almost be a throwback to back in the day. This training camp, when you basically have a 6-week-long training camp, and you're going to have to go at it. A walkthrough in the morning, some padded practices in the afternoon, and of course teams will have to be smart about it. But I mean, let's be honest here. Like football, it cannot be played 100% safe. It is a contact sport. It is a collision sport, and players do benefit from a little bit of contact in practice. And guys will need to get after it. Otherwise, the product at the start of the season, it's going to stink, especially in areas where drilling and contact is essential, notably tackling as well as offensive line play. Because you've seen through various iterations of the CBA, as practices and contact have gone down, tackling has really suffered. I mean, just the art of tackling, the form of tackling, it's really gone by the wayside. You just have guys who don't tackle in practice in training camp, don't tackle in practice during the season, and then all of a sudden they're just like launching their bodies at each other. It's like full on Andrew Sandejo, right? So, but also, the NFL and the NFLPA and the CBA have been just scaling back contact in training camp and practices in general, and you only get so many days of padded practices. You only get so many allotted minutes of padded practices. Most teams don't even use it all, right? And the Vikings should have to this year, and it would be really smart because I think that it would give you a bit of an edge over teams who may have a little bit less contact in their respective bubbles of training camps. And also, if you want to rebuild the offensive line, that's where you have to grind. That's where you have to start right away, because everything is going to come down to the offensive line. This entire fortune of the team will start up front, because up front is what allows Dalvin Cook to be Dalvin Cook, as well as giving Kirk Cousins time to be a top 10 adjacent type quarterback in this league. And the offense may have to carry part of the defense this year, because part and parcel of the lack of content when you have a rebuilding and rebooting defense. I mean, tackling is going to be quasi important, especially look what happened last year. Look at especially what happened in the run game. But offensive line, if that unit is going to gel, yes, you do have 4 out of 5 starters returning, much to our chagrin, but whatever. As well as if you do have Ezra Cleveland perhaps starting at that right guard spot, a place where he's never played before, it's going to be completely paramount and important that he gets as much work in as possible, even if it's just simulated practice, even if it is just a couple live reps here and there. Those are going to be essential with no preseason games, as well as the defensive line on the other side is going to have a lot of moving parts as well. I mean, taking out Steffen, you're likely to have 3 new starters, where you have Daniil Hunter, and then who knows, like Afadi, you have James Lynch, you have Jaleel Johnson. It's possible. Iron will sharpen iron, and so guys will have to get after it a little bit this month, and there are going to be trade-offs. Of course, if you do have more one-on-ones, if you do have more 4-on-5 drills, that's going to mean potential higher chance for injury. But just like you would in a normal season, players playing in a preseason game. So it's going to be unfortunate. I think you probably around the league will see an injury here and there due to some increased padded practices, but it's going to be necessary unless you want full-on XFL football the first couple weeks of the season. It's going to be what it's going to be. All right, so that is it. All right, but your thoughts. Riley Reiff saying offensive linemen need live reps. It's the most I've ever heard him talk, actually. Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Pull us up on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.